Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today I am going to talk about a flight survival pack. I'm getting ready to go on a trip to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about the things that I'm going to pack for my flight, and that hopefully will give you some ideas of what you should pack to make your flight as pleasant as possible. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is electronics. This seems to take up the bulk of my bag, probably because the items are so big. But first things first is you need a quality set of headphones. Noise canceling are a great option. These are not noise canceling, but they are over the ear, so they fit in nicely and tune out most passengers and engine noise. So if you're watching movies or listening to music, they do a really good job of canceling out extra noise that you don't want to hear. One thing to always remember to bring is a dongle. If you have an iPhone that has the lightning jack only, you'll need this extra little piece to fit into your headset. If you don't have it, you'll be really bummed, and you'll have to go with your backup pair of just your standard Apple headphone set. The next item is what you're going to be watching your movie on or listening to your book or whatnot. You can have a tablet. This is an iPad. I always bring my phone with me, but it's currently filming, so you'll have to always remember to bring your phone. Or you can have an old school computer. I probably wouldn't bring this on most trips unless I knew that I was going to really be working on it. It is heavy, and if you're not going to use it, there's no point in bringing it. For my current trip, I probably will pack it in just because I will have a lot of space because I'll be checking a bag, so it's not going to be that big of an issue. Next set of electronics, and this is also optional, but if you are going to want to be typing something either from your tablet or your phone, you can throw in this little keyboard. Since I'm bringing my computer, I won't need this on this trip. Lastly, never leave home without your charger or your cable so that you can make sure you're fully charged, and if you're not, you want to bring in a spare battery pack so that you can get that extra bit of juice. Most planes, the newer planes anyway, have a USB connection, but just in case they don't, you want to make sure you have the actual part that plugs into the wall so that when you're at airports, you can get some good charging before you get back on the flight. The second most important thing for me anyways to bring on the flight is food. It's nice when they pass around the drinks and the pretzels, but I usually need a little bit more. Now my flight out to Washington, D.C. is going to be an early one, and I'm probably not going to want breakfast at 4:30 in the morning when I show up at the airport. So I'm going to make sure to bring along a protein bar, some dried fruit and nuts, and that's just something quick and easy and healthy that I can throw in my pack that when I'm actually hungry around 7:30, maybe around Minnesota, I can eat that, and I will not eat my entire bag cinnamon bears, which is probably what I'm going to really want to eat. You also want to make sure that you bring a water bottle. Make sure that you do not fill it up before you go through security, otherwise you'll get busted and your bottle will get taken away from you. Instead, bring it empty, fill it up in the airport, and you'll be good to go. Lastly, make sure you bring some chewing gum. And this will help you during takeoff and landing. If you chew it, it'll help so that your ears will pressurize and it won't be as painful. Next topic is sleep. This won't really play that big of a role if you have a flight that is not international or really early in the morning or late at night, but it's always good to be prepared for those situations. So I bring, this is a Cabot travel pillow. It folds down kind of small, not really, but it's memory foam, so when you actually open it up and get it to stretch out, it is pretty comfortable. Just fits around your neck and swells up, and it gives you a little bit of a pillow so that you can sleep a little easier. You also want to bring some eye shades, and this is really important, I think, for the flights because it tunes out not only the light but all of the rest of the movement, anything else that's going on with the plane. So you want to make sure you bring a good pair of those. Equally important, some really strong earplugs, the best kind that you can get. I think everybody has different shape ear canal, so you might want to play around with some different brands and see what works best for you. And lastly, if you need a little bit of help falling asleep on those international flights especially, you can bring some sleep aids. I usually just take some Dramamine or some Benadryl, and that's good enough to knock me out for a few hours, but doesn't put me totally out, so that when I land, I am actually able to wake up and not forgotten on the plane. The next item are some accessories, not in the form of earrings, hats, etc., but comfort accessories. So if you are wearing a scarf on your flight, it's very easy to take that scarf off, and if you get cold, turns into a blanket. I know that when I'm sleeping on the international flights, it's more of a comfort thing than an actual temperature thing, but I like to have a little extra thing to lay across me, and it makes me feel somewhat more like I'm laying in a bed. I also am getting older, and so the long flights make my feet swell, my hands swell up, so one way to combat that is to wear some socks. These are not anything special, they're not orthopedic, they're just some soccer socks that go up pretty high up to my knees, so I like to bring those. The next topic are health related. On those long international flights or late nights, you can land and not look maybe your best. So one way to help combat that, you can bring along some face wipes, wipe off, towel off, do a little wet wipe, and that'll make you feel a little bit better about life. Just bring a toothbrush and toothpaste. I'm probably not going to bring those just because my flight's only a few hours long, so I won't really need that, but they are good to bring on the international flights. Always want to bring your first aid kit with just some Band-Aids, aspirin, something like that, just in case the worst happens on your flight. Also, the air is really dry, sucks all the moisture out as you're flying, so you want to bring some lotion and some chapstick. I like Aquaphor because it can double as both chapstick and lotion, so you only have to bring one thing. That's nice. You might want to bring some tissues if you have any issues like that. And maybe most importantly, are some antibacterial wipes. The first thing I do when I get on a plane is take one of these out and wipe down the seat belt, the armrests, the tray in front of me. And I'm not even a germaphobe, I just know that they do not get a lot of attention from the staff when they're cleaning because they're trying to turn over flights so fast. So they get missed, and it's important that you take care of that when you can. And lastly, some items that are a little bit more analog, old-fashioned pen and paper. This is just a little journal that I like to bring around in case I need to write something down. A pen, which is particularly important for those international flights when you get the custom declaration form you can fill out. And lastly, analog and old school, but a book. On our flight to Hawaii a few years ago, we flew from Seattle to the Big Island, and it blew my mind that there wasn't onboard entertainment for a flight that long. Luckily I had brought a book, which I read at the beginning of the flight and was done by the end of the flight, so instead of reading by the beach, I read in the plane, but I survived and it got me through. Now that you have everything that you need for your flight survival pack, the last trick is to get organized. Space is at a premium on flights, and it's really hard to find everything that you're looking for if you're not organized. So one trick is to get some nice little bags that can keep everything together. This one is particularly nice because it has a bunch of zippers and pockets. You can keep everything you need. So here's probably what I'm going to bring with me on my trip. So I'm going to throw all of my health-related items in this main pocket here. Zip it up. And on the other side, I can put in some of my electronics so that when I need them, I know just where they are. Throw those in there. And that's good. Maybe on this side, I'll throw my sleeping help. And, oops. There we have it. When you have your bag, you can just put it all in here. Your headphones, snacks, this bag, your book, and I'm going to leave this front pocket for my stuff that I'll probably want to grab right off the bat. And just like that, you are good to go. Well, there you have it. I hope this has been helpful and taught you some good tricks to make your next flight as painless as possible. Please subscribe to our channel and learn some other tricks and tips that Bea and I have learned along the way. And safe travels!